Hi friends, welcome to SQL Learning. Today we will talk about 15 best practices we need to follow while writing the SQL query. So these best practices will help you to write the SQL query in proper way and improve the performance. So the first technique is write SQL keywords in capital letters. For example, here I am creating the table. In creating the table, I could see couple of SQL keywords, right? One is create, then table. Those keywords I maintained in uppercase. Okay, so the first technique is whenever you're writing the SQL query, if you're using the SQL keywords, then write it in the capital letters. This is the first technique. The second one is never use select star. Always mention the list of columns in the select class. For example, I'm reading the data from the employee table and I need only employee number, employee name, and salary. So if you need only these three columns, then mention only those columns only instead of star. So if I run these two queries, what I'm getting in the first query, I'm able to see all the columns. Here only the mandatory columns. Here in this environment, I have only limited data, but in real time, you will see millions of data, right? So if you're reading the data from the big table with star, it may impact your performance and you're reading the unwanted data. So to avoid this, mention only the mandatory columns in your query. The third point is use table aliases with columns when you're joining the multiple tables. So here I'm joining employee table with my department table, and here I'm maintaining the aliasing. For employee E, for department, the aliasing is D. So here in the columns, I maintain that aliasing as well. Employee number I want from the employee table, and department name and department ID from department table. If you see here, this department number is available in two tables, but I need this information from department table only. So this will help the SQL Server while reading the data from your underlying tables. Fourth one is add useful comments whenever you write the complex logic to avoid and also avoid too many comments. For example, if you're writing the complex operation, for example case, I'm performing the arithmetic operation. Basically, I want to get to know yearly salary. The salary will contain monthly salary income. So I want to get to know yearly salary. So what I did, salary into 12, I did. So about my operation, I provided that info in the comment section. Yearly salary column equals to 12 months of salary. So this will help to the other person while reading this particular select statement. So he will get to know about my operation. The fifth point is create CTEs instead of multiple subqueries. It will make your query easy to read. For example, here what I want to perform is I want to get to know second highest salary. So I can achieve this requirement by using CTE and also subquery. So this is the subquery and this is the CTE. CTE, if you see CTE is much more readable when compared to my first query, subquery. So in CTE, what I'm doing, I'm creating one virtual column with the help of dense rank. Then I'm creating this row number column. By using this row number column, I'm finding out the second highest salary. So this is much more readable, much more effective when compared to this particular subquery. This is the fifth point. And the next sixth point is use joins instead of subqueries whenever possible for better performance. So here, these are the two tables for sixth point. This is the product table and this is the sales table. So what I want is from these two tables, we need the names, product names, and the cost of the product from the product table that are sold for 2000. So here I can achieve this requirement by using CTE. Here I'm using the here I'm using the subquery. If I run the subquery, what it will do is basically by using this inner query, it will get to know which product is having the 2000 cost. By using that inner query, it is displaying the product information, these two information. I can achieve this requirement using join also. If I run these two queries, you will see same output. So even with the joining also, you will get the same output. So here The second query is much more readable, and the performance point of view also, it is the best option, because in subquery here, this query will use the in class. In nil, here what it will do internally is, here in section, whatever the product ID here we are getting, those values will be used in the outer query. So performance point of view, if you have multiple values, or if you have n number of records here, the performance will be impact. So instead of using this subquery, go with the joining query. So the next point is join tables using join keyword instead of writing the join condition in the where class for better readability. For example, when you are joining the tables, the joining condition you have to specify after and. So instead of placing it in the where class. This is the seventh one. And the next one is eighth point. Never use order by in subqueries. It will unnecessarily increase your runtime. Technically, in inner query, order by is not possible. It will throw the error. If you try to add the order by in inner query, it will throw you the error. But you can do the order outside the inner query. Means outer query, you can do the order. So when you're doing the order, try to avoid that ordering when you're using the subqueries. So this is all about the eighth point. Whenever you are using the subqueries, try to avoid order by, because unnecessarily it will increase the runtime. Eighth one is this one, right? Ninth one is, if you know there are no duplicates while combining the data set, instead of union, go with the union all. Basically, when you're combining the data set, you will use union or union all, right? So if you go with the union, what will happen? If you have any duplicates in the display, it will try to remove those duplicates, right? So if you know that there is no duplicates, then why we need to use union? So in that case, go with the union all, because for removing the duplicates, it will take extra time. So to avoid that extra time, go with the union all. 10th point is use proper formatting and indentation for code readability. For example, this is not formatted query and this is the formatted query. So it is much readable. This is much readable when compared to the first query. So use the proper formatting and indentation. 11th point is avoid using the distinct for better performance. Instead of try to find the root cause why you are getting the duplicate records in the real time. So here I wrote two queries, one query with the distinct class and another query is without distinct. So try to avoid that distinct, and instead of that try to find the root cause why you are getting the duplicates. Even though if you have the duplicates, then try to find out the other option instead of distinct. The next point is 12th point. Prefer to use exist and not exist instead of in and not in whenever possible. So in and not in, when compared to exist and not exist, these are the best options. When compared to in and not in operators, exist and not exist will work much better when you have the bigger data sets. So go with the exist and not exist. 13th point is must have the knowledge on the internal execution order of the SQL statement. For example, I'm joining more than two tables, means I'm joining the couple of tables. So while joining that particular select statement, while writing that particular select statement, while joining, I should be always aware I'm joining with the smaller table with the larger table. The first I will use the small table, then after that I will use the large table. I should know about the execution order. While writing the query, I should know about the execution order. Means first from which order I am reading the data. So you should have the knowledge on the internal execution order. Then only your query will be much better in performance point of view. 14th point is instead of using the R, try to use the union and union all if possible. And the last point, 15th point is have proper join and joining condition in the query to avoid the cross join. For example case, what I will do is here I'm using the wrong joining condition. If I go with the wrong joining condition, you will see 56 records. But if I provide the proper joining condition here, you will see only the required data. 14 records are common. So I'm getting the 14 records. But if it is a cross join, then you will see 56 records, right? So you will fetch the unwanted data. So these are the 15 techniques we will follow while writing the SQL query. So if you follow these techniques, what will happen? Indirectly, it will improve the performance. It is just like comparing the bad query versus the good query. I will not say these will improve the performance or performance related step, but if you follow these 15 steps, indirectly it may impact your performance. And you will see that a good query by following the 15 points. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel for more info on SQL.